Hello and welcome to New Frontiers on CCTV International. I'm Ji Xiajun in Beijing. And today we're continuing with our mini-series about the village of Zhousун in Shandong province. Most people in China are familiar with the story of Dong Yong and the Weaving Girl. However, something that is little known is that the story comes originally from Zhousун. Since the Warring States period 2,500 years ago, Zhousун has been at the heart of silk production in Shandong. Its pleasantly warm and humid climate made it an ideal location for the production of silk and hemp. By the time of the Tang Dynasty 1400 years ago, it had developed into a national distribution center.
Chun Yu lives in the city of Sibo. As a collector, he owns many letters and trademarks from the 1930s associated with the silk business in Zhaochun, which back up Zhao Jianyuan's assertions. Places and locales associated with the silk industry always seem to develop a corresponding silk culture. For example, there's the story of the love between Dong Yong and the Weaving Girl. The story of Dong Yong is inscribed on stone tablets found at the Wu family ancestral temple, dating from the Eastern Han Dynasty almost 2,000 years ago. The inscriptions state that Dong Yong was born in Chansheng. Previously, Liu Xiang of the Western Han Dynasty also had written in his book, Biography of Filial Sons, that Dong Yong was born in Chansheng. He also described Dong Yong's wife as a weaving girl from heaven.
这个汉代的千盛呢，位于现在山东省淄博市的这个高清县境内。到了南北朝时呢，它东迁了，迁到了现在这个博兴，现在的博兴。但是呢，它都和周村是近邻。这个董永呢，他本是西汉时千盛的一个农民，他当时是个大孝子啊，他因为这个卖身葬父嘛，才闻名于天下。所以当时这个汉朝政府把他列为是家庭伦理道德的楷模，并封他在这个吴陵啊，也就是现在的周村呢，做了一个小官。他去世以后呢，也就埋葬了这个周村城南的一个叫韩家窝村。但是后来他在民间却被神化了，尤其是他的妻子，在这个神话传说中啊，被演绎成了叫做是玉皇大帝的女儿，所以使这个董永的故事在中国成为一个非常有影响力的一个民间传说。
In the legend, Dong Yong was identified as the embodiment of ancient farming culture. His wife became the embodiment of ancient silk culture. At the time of the Three Kingdoms in the 3rd century, Chao Ji wrote in his essay on glossy Ganoderma that Dong Yong, having sold himself into servitude, eventually married the weaving girl in heaven. She, by weaving hundreds of pieces of brocade in 10 days, bought Dong Yong's freedom. Afterwards, the weaving girl returned to heaven, but only after teaching the local people the skill of brocade making. Such folk tales are a fascinating part of the ancient silk culture. Geographically, Zhaochun enjoys a unique location. To the north is a seemingly endless expanse of plains. To the south are mountains. In other words, it's a place where plains and mountains come together. Moreover, east of Zhaochun lies the Bohai Sea, and west is a canal. Its unique location enabled Zhaochun to become a key center for the distribution of products, principally silk, in Shandong and for the whole of China. Zhaochun, as a commercial city in the center of the trade in high-quality silk products, may well have attracted silk merchants from as far away as the western regions and even Arabia. This would explain the presence of Manichaeism and of the Hubing cakes made by distant ethnic groups. In 1992, the China Silk Museum sent 2 people to Zhaochun to study the history of silk there. The site of the Silk Market Street and Satin Market Street caused them considerable surprise.
在1992年底的时候，中国丝绸博物馆来了2位同志到舟川进行考察，其中有一位女同志叫单小凤。她看了我们舟川的街道之后，特别提到一个丝市街、绸市街，她很感兴趣。她说他们已经跑遍了全国，像以丝绸命名的街道是独一无二的。他们打算回去就是说复制一条这样的模型，放到丝绸博物馆里头陈列。但是后来因为种种原因，这个计划没有实现。但是他说这2条街道在中国是独一无二，对我印象是非常深刻的。
The history of Zhaochun's Silk Market and Satin Market streets dates back to the Tang and Sung dynasties over 1,000 years ago. At the time, silk was transported from Zhaochun to Kaifeng, Luoyang, and Xi overland, and from there it could be taken to Xinjiang and onward to Arabia. It could also be carried by sea to Korea and Japan via the ports of Dongzhou and Jifu. Hence, Zhaochun can claim to be an original source of the overland Silk Road and the Silk Road of the Sea. It was also an important land port. In 1799, Wang Yanglin, in his record of the rebuilding of Shanglong Bridge in Zhaochun, stated that a place where merchants anchored their ships, such as Hankow, Foshan, Jingdejun, and Jushangjun, was a port. Land ports were trading places, not connected with water. The Huilong Bridge in Zhaochun was built originally in the Ming Dynasty. It remains today as a witness to the once splendid history of a land port. In the 18th century, at the time of Emperor Changlong of the Qing Dynasty, Xu Wenxiang was president of the Board of Punishments. He was so impressed by Zhaochun's prosperity that he wrote an essay. He described how goods can reach the most distant places through Zhaochun. All kinds of fine goods can be found in Zhaochun, and goods can be transported from there across the whole country.
In 1710, another government official named Jin Shi began to wonder how a place with no links to water could have become such an important distribution center. Following a visit to Zhochun, he concluded that the silk trade was only partially responsible for the area's prosperity. The key role had in fact been played by a man named Li Huaxi.
A stone tablet stands in the middle of the ancient trade street. It has 6 faces. On the side facing the street are written the words, "No tax this day." This strange stone tablet never fails to attract the attention of tourists. However, the more educated realize that it is not historical as a relic. It is a very recent addition. The stone tablet was in fact erected in 2004. At that time, the Shandong Television and Film Production Center was filming the drama series Land Port in Zhaochun. The local government had the tablet made on the request of the film crew. The tablet was left in place after filming concluded and has become a new attraction in Zhaochun. Historically, Zhaochun really did have a stone tablet inscribed with the words, "No tax this day." It was located in the middle of Shunhe Street. The original, which was about the same size as the new one, was unfortunately destroyed in 1958. Although the original stone tablet was lost long ago, the story associated with it has never been forgotten by people in Zhaochun. It concerns a man named Li Huaxi, who played a key role in the development of Zhaochun. Li Huaxi's family came originally from Yushan County in Shanxi Province. In the early years of the Ming Dynasty, the family had moved to Shandong Province, where they settled in the village of Gucheng, south of Zhaochun. In 1633, Li Huaxi passed the highest imperial examination. In recognition of his diligence and ability, he was appointed governor of Sichuan Province, governor of Shanxi Province, and vice president of the Board of War. Even after the downfall of the Ming Dynasty, he retained high office under the Qing Dynasty, eventually being promoted to Minister of the Board of Punishments. But, to everyone's surprise, Li Huaxi resigned a year after his appointment and returned to his hometown. He's said to have been the first senior official to resign of his own accord after the founding of the Qing Dynasty. Li Huaxi worked wholeheartedly for the people of Zhaochun. Firstly, he helped the government deal with the local bandits and outlaws. He also persuaded the governor of Shandong to remit a considerable part of the province's tax revenues to Zhaochun. Significantly, he assumed responsibility for the payment of all the town's trade taxes. This effectively made Zhaochun the first tax-free region in the whole country. Li Huaxi's descendants continued to take responsibility for paying Zhaochun's taxes. The practice lasted for 185 years, until the time of Li Wopu. Zhaochun's tax-free status was a key stimulant to its rapid development. Merchants were drawn to the place from all over China. Gradually, the economy relied less on silk and became much more diversified. Merchants from Shanxi were among the first to be attracted to Zhaochun. They had first made their way there in the Ming Dynasty. By the time of the Qing Dynasty, they were bringing not only silk, but also dye stuffs, lacquer, and paper money into Zhaochun. Essentially, they were the first outsiders to invest in the town. Following in the footsteps of the Shanxi merchants came businessmen from Jiangxi, Anhui, the northeast, and Fujian. The Fujian merchants spent a vast sum on building a grand hall in honor of the goddess Mazu, called the Tianhao Palace.
在我们中国的东南沿海，特别是福建一带， 我们会经常见到妈祖庙，而在中国的北方几乎是看不到。但是在周村却有福建商人修建的一座妈祖庙。福建商人越来越多地到周村做买卖，他们的货物大多经水路而来，一是大运河，二是海上水路，因此他们要寻求海神妈祖的保护，因此修了妈祖庙。这座庙呢，在当地被称为天后宫。从天后宫的规模和建造的精美程度，我们就可以知道当年民商在周村的商业份额和他们巨大的商业实力。
Historical records tell us that at one time there were thousands of shops here. Over 80% of them were run by outsiders.
During the reign of Emperor Jia Qing in the early years of the 19th century, a group of merchants came to Zhouzun from Jiangqiu in Shandong province. They would establish one of the biggest industrial and commercial enterprises in the whole of China. Their rise to fame and fortune was precipitated by a quite ordinary event that took place in a Zhouzun street.
Under the Ming and Qing dynasties, when commerce in Zhaochun was flourishing, the town also enjoyed a period of cultural prosperity. At Lantern Festival time, its display of lanterns was a spectacular sight. Wu Wenxiang, in his essay on Zhaochun, wrote, "The thousands of lanterns shine as brightly as the stars at moon at night, and the hundreds of trees with lanterns hung from them dance like a dragon." It's said that Emperor Qianlong heard of the festive lanterns of Zhaochun and even visited the place. He wrote the words, "Number 1 village," on the wall of the inn there. However, there's no way of knowing whether there is any truth to the story of Emperor Qianlong's visit. But in the lane where Emperor Qianlong is supposed to have written his inscription, there was a silk shop owned by the Diao family. However, their business was faring badly, and they decided to sell up. One day, someone joked that the family's problem was that the ground on which their shop stood had not been mastered. Only the descendant of a sage had the power to master the ground. It so happened that a man named Meng Xingtai owned a dyeing shop on Xiagao Street at that time. His business was going from strength to strength, and he wanted to buy larger premises. Eventually, he bought the Diao family silk shop at a bargain price, and his business continued to prosper. Before long, the Hengshang Dyeing House was counted as one of the leading shops in Zhaochun. Subsequently, the street changed its name to Wangshun Street. Meng Xingtai claimed descent from the ancient philosopher Mencius. His ancestral home was in the town of Jiujun in Jiangqiu, Shandong province. The family had moved to Zhaochun to make their fortune at the beginning of the Qing dynasty. Later, in the first half of the 19th century, under the reign of Emperor Daoguang, the Huangshang Dyeing House was inherited by Meng Chuangju, the grandson of Meng Xingtai. He promoted the continuous growth of the business, and under the names Longshang and Qianxingyi, expanded across China.
最晚从清代乾隆年间，章丘县九郡 孟氏大家族的人纷纷到周村来经商。这起码有3个原因：第一，孟氏家族具有商业头脑，他们看好了周村的商机；第二，这2个地方的距离最多不过30公里，而且交通方便；三个，商人做买卖，商业自豪的建立，他们都要寻求一个氛围，要聚集一个人气，因此历来商人他们都喜欢扎堆。孟氏家族先后在周村开办了许多商号，因为他们这些商号当中都还有一个祥字，这就是后来人们统称的祥字号。
There were many dyeing houses in Zhaochun at the time. They provided the inspiration for the well-known television series Big Dyeing House. By the time of the reign of the Emperor Tongji in the second half of the 19th century, the Meng family owned more than 10 shops. There were silk shops, grocery stores, banks, pawn shops, and even tea shops. All had one thing in common. They were famous for their strict management. On one occasion, a clerk at the Rui Linxiang silk shop broke the regulations. He was sacked and left with nothing in the world except for a little money and a bag with the words Rui Linxiang printed on it. But he never uttered a word of complaint because he knew that Rui Linxiang had suffered a heavy loss due to his mistake. The young man's name was Wang Dagao. Wang Dagao traveled to Qingdao, which was still a small fishing village at the time. He found that a Japanese merchant ship carrying print had been detained in the harbor, having failed to sell its cargo. Japanese print was famous for its high quality and cheap price, and Wang Dagao knew that it sold well in Zhaochun. He had a brainwave. He would claim to be a purchasing agent acting for Rui Lixiang of Zhaochun and buy the ship's entire cargo on credit. The Japanese merchants saw the bag with the words Rui Lixiang printed on it, and they had also heard about the shop, so they agreed to deliver the print to Zhaochun immediately.
当一辆一辆满载印花布的大车到达周村之后，因为长期缺乏货源的瑞林乡的老掌柜是又惊又喜，他当即付清货款，并且马上写信让来人捎给王大高，请他马上到周村来复工上班。王大高回到周村之后，工作更是勤勉敬业。以后他不仅成为周村瑞林乡的掌柜，并且升为瑞林乡全国总号的总经理。我们认为王大高这个人了不得，他在祥字号的创业发展史上的确是一位传奇人物。
Of the many Meng family shops, Rui Fuxiang was the most famous, even though it was among the last to open. So the big question is what or who was the secret to its success?
Among the many Meng family shops in Zhoushan, Rui Fuxiang was the most famous, even though it was among the last to open. Still today, there are 24 outlets nationwide. The biggest is Rui Fuxiang Silk on Beijing's Dashilar Street. So, what or who was the secret to Rui Fuxiang's success? We'll bring you the answer to that question next time. And thank you for being with us on New Frontiers. I'm Ji Xiaojun from CCTV International. Bye for now.